We're going to run through the Knowledge Unlatched proof of concept pilot. If you're not familiar with the KU model, then I would recommend taking a minute to watch the cute animated infographic called KU in 60 seconds. It's a nice shortcut to understanding what we're doing. Today, we'll be looking at the results of the pilot, the evolving OA environment, our vision for the future, and what next steps we're taking. Libraries and publishers cooperated and enabled making 28 titles open that otherwise would have remained closed. In doing so, they demonstrated that costs can be shared in a way that is beneficial for all. This was no mean feat. The pilot attracted participation from 24 countries, and here you can see the geographic spread. The list of charter members is listed on the KU site. 13 publishers participated in the pilot. As you can see from the list, they are both university and commercial presses. They're located in the US, UK, and continental Europe, and they range from the very small to the very large. We began designing the details of the pilot back in 2012, but it was only early in 2013 that we invited publishers to submit titles for consideration. We had over 100 titles submitted, but with the help of librarians, we whittled the number down to 28. At the same time, we surveyed libraries in the US, UK, and Germany. Finally, late in 2013, we were ready to launch. The average hardback price of the 28 books was $95. The average title fee requested by publishers for unlatching was $12,000. So we calculated that we should aim to recruit 200 libraries, each paying $60 per book. So the total cost for each library would be a maximum of $1,680. We had 5 subject areas representing a cross-section of the humanities and social sciences. This single package was designed especially for the pilot. In future, we intend to offer single subject packages. We were very pleased with the support from the community and the various services listed here. For hosting, we have the cooperation of OAPN and the Hathi Trust. For preservation, we have made arrangements with Portico and Clocks. Metadata is important to us, and we have taken great strides in enhancing MARC records and had the cooperation of several university libraries. The books can be discovered through places like WorldCat and Summons. When the recruiting period closed, we had 297 libraries pledging their support. That was 50% above our target. So we were able to reduce the collection costs from $1,680 down to $1,195 per library, and thus the per book per library cost came down from $60 to under $43. Since the pledging period has closed, over 100 additional libraries have pre-registered for the next round. We asked publishers to seek agreement with their authors over which Creative Commons license they wish to employ. All of these were used in one or more instances, but the overwhelming majority opted for C, N, C, and D licenses. One area we are still working on is how to account for multiple formats. Both publishers and libraries agreed that the unlatching contribution should be recognized in some way when a library wishes to purchase the content in another format. Many solutions were offered for this, but for the pilot, building the technology to accommodate this would have been too expensive. So publishers agreed, for the pilot only, to waive the unlatching fee altogether in the event that a second version would be bought. In future, once KU scales, it should be possible to apply an automated discount. We provided enhanced MARC records, and a number of discovery tools are in operation. However, this is something, as I mentioned before, we'd like to do more work with publishers and encourage more use of DOIs for linking and abstracts to enrich ONIX metadata. This map illustrates where the downloads are actually taking place around the world. The data is from only 3 months, and at a time when only OAPN was hosting the books. And yet, people in 121 countries downloaded these books. This is a terrific endorsement for going open. Here we see that 80% of the downloads came from countries that supported KU through their contributions to Unlatching. At the same time, 20% came from countries that would never have been able to afford these books at all. We at KU are keen to explore in much greater depth how one can measure the impact of monographs. We know that when open, many more people read these books. But how does this compare with the performance of closed books? How can we apply altmetrics? To get as much information as possible, we'll be encouraging examination of a whole range of issues. We've adapted the model through our extensive consultations and are working on preparing a much longer report on the pilot. Nevertheless, our vision remains intact. It is to find a sustainable route to open access for specialist scholarly books, and to enable the humanities and social science books to be as accessible in open access as the output of open access science journal articles. We are committed to experimenting with new content and with new models. So, how are we going to achieve this vision? The basic principles remain the same. We'll be spreading costs of open access across institutions globally, and we will help libraries to maximize the positive impact of their spend on books. And I return to just how much we need more libraries to join up, and how much of a difference it would make to each library as more participate. Here we can see what dramatic savings there can be on each individual library budgets while supporting the publishing costs. We're also looking at additional opportunities to open up access to scholarship. KU South will be geared to content that is being generated out of developing countries. We've been approached to apply the KU model for work that is being published in other languages. And we also want to work with the new digital-first new open access presses, who will be in need of finding ways of funding themselves. However, first we need to address our infrastructure, which needs development to scale up. We need to find more partners to work with in the scaling up phase, and we need to fund our own operations. And here is what we are working on during the second half of 2014. We're devising ways of managing data flow better. We're developing consortia models, and we're activating new library committees. We're producing a substantial report on the pilot and recruiting more publishers and more libraries. We're facing a very exciting time as we move forward, and I want to thank you very much for viewing this slidecast.